අයිබෝවන් සිංහලයාගේ අනන්‍යතාවය යළි තහවුරු කිරීම පිණිස අරිය කම්මට්ටාන සංවිධානය වසර ගණනාවක් පුරා සිදු කරන ලද ගවේෂණ සහ පර්යේෂණවල මෙතෙක් සිදු කරන ලද වාර්තාව එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානයේ 55 වන මානවිකම් සැසියට ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම පසුගියදා සිදු කෙරුණා. මෙම වාර්තාවේ ඇතුළත් කරුණු සහ සංවිධානය විසින් ගන්නට ලබන ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳ ජනතාව දැනුවත් කිරීම සඳහා ජිනීවා නුවර මාධ්‍ය සංගම් සමාජිකයන් විසින් මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවක් සංවිධානය කර තිබුණා. එම සංවිධානයේ විධායක අධ්‍යක්ෂකාවගේද සහභාගීත්වයෙන් පැවැත්වුණු එම මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවටයි TruthConnectTV හරහා දැන් අපි සම්බන්ධ වන්නේ.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Bienvenue au Club Suisse de la Presse. Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome in the Geneva Press Club. Welcome to those following Geneva Press Club online too. We're glad to have with us today the Arya Matana organization. Arya Matana is a Sri Lankan Buddhist group. Welcome to you on the stage and in front of me. We are here at the Press Club. You are here at the Press Club to tell us about your concern, emotion and anger about a topic concerning cultural and spiritual history of your country and especially the identity of the Buddha and of the Sinhalese people from Sri Lanka. You are bringing this case during the ongoing session of the Human Rights Council to the United Nations organization. I'm glad to welcome today especially Venerable Klepe Aryamaga, welcome, and human rights advocate, Mr. Marius Rekeras. And first of all, glad to give the floor to our moderator today, who is Mr. Chandima Darshanat. Mr. Chandima Darshanat, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Ms. Isabel Falconer, the Executive Director for Geneva Press Club. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Geneva Press Club for a pivotal press conference that promises to unveil significant historical revelations and legal pursuits concerning distortions of Buddha, Hindu and Jain narratives. We are honored to have you all with us today. I heartfully welcome the most venerable senior Buddhist monks, including the Chief Justices for the monks who came all the way from Sri Lanka to support this great mission of Arya Kammatthana organization. Our first speaker, the founder and chairman of Arya Kammatthana organization, Venerable Klepe Aryamaga, is not only a revered figure in the Buddhist community, but also a leading voice in the Arya Kammatthana organization. Today, he will share insights from years of exhausting investigations into the deliberate historical distortions perpetrated during the British colonial era. Venerable Aryamaga, please enlighten us with your findings.
Venerable monastic sirs, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my warmest greeting to everyone gathered here today at the distinguished Geneva Press Club. I am here with my committed colleagues from Arya Kammatthana organization. We stand before you in Geneva to disclose a truth that has been intentionally concealed, a distortion of the history orchestrated during the British colonial era that has fundamentally altered the sacred narrative of Buddhism and the ethnic identity of the Buddha, along with the indigenous title of Sinhala race. For numerous years, our organization has embarked on a profound journey of investigation. We have meticulously reached historical records, map and sacred texts uncovering scandalous act of historical falsification perpetrated by British colonialism. This deliberate act has not only misinterpreted the true identity of the Buddha and the Sinhala race, but has also inaccurately relocated the sacred worship sites of Buddhists, Hindus, and Jains. This site was shifted to incorrect geographical location within the Indian subcontinent, a move executed with full awareness and intent to mislead devotees, undermine the authenticity of this ancient religious with the ultimate ambition to erase their significance from the annals of history. As member of Arya Kammattana, we have devoted our lives to rectifying these historical wrongs. Our mission is deeply rooted reclaiming our indigenous heritage and clarifying the ethnic identity of the historical truth of the Buddha and Buddhist history, which have been obscured by British colonial manipulation. Despite our persistent effort and the filing a legal challenge in both Sri Lanka and the UK, we have encountered a dismissal, reflection, a colonial arrogance, and a lack of willingness of reconciliation. Facing such a dismissal, we are now compelled to escalate our fight to the international arena. We are preparing to file a petition against the United Kingdom, India, and Sri Lanka for human rights violation in various United Nations committees, tribunals, and other international courts. Our battle includes pursuing both civil and criminal action against those post-colonial governments that perpetuate since 19th century colonial injustices. Today we shed light on the systematic and deliberate falsification of historical and geographical records, deception that has misled millions and compromised the spiritual integrity of our religions. The alteration of the historical and geographical context by colonial powers has not only obscured the truth about the sacred sites of Gautama Buddha, but has also fostered the deep-seated misunderstanding regarding the storied past of Hindu and Jain traditions. Our extensive research revealed that significant figures such as Gautama the Buddha and Emperor Asoka indeed originated from Sri Lanka, challenging the erroneously propagated belief of them Indian origin. Furthermore, we contest accepted chronologies suggesting revised timeline that posits the Buddha lived 2,800 years ago, nearly 4,000 now. A claim robustly supported by a vast collection of documents and over 200 of ancient epigraphy from Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Cambodia. Further, this fact distortion expands to Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Rama, which has led to significant Muslim and Hindu conflict in India, where Hindus has invaded the Muslim religious worshipping places throughout India. The discovery of Arya Kammattana is confirming the present geographical location of Ayodhya in India is also not correct. The true Ayodhya is located within the contemporary boundaries of Sri Lanka. The implication of finding and monumental necessitating through revelation of the history and the restoration of our collective heritage as we prepare to pursue justice through international court and the United Nations. We call upon global community to support this righteous cause. This presentation is far more than an academic exercise, heartfelt plea for justice, truth, and the dignity. of millions whose histories have been manipulated. We invite you to join our mission to disseminate this message and to start with us and to stand with us as we strive to correct the course of our common history. For more information about Arya Kammattana and our groundbreaking mission, please visit our websites. Together we can restore the integrity of our spiritual and cultural identities, ensuring justices for generations to come. Thank you for your attentive presence, your empathy, and your unwavering support in our quest to reclaim the truth and secure justice for those wronged by historical distortions. අවසරයි මගේ අතිගෞරවනීය නායක ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ, ඒ වගේම මව්වරුනි පියවරුනි, අපි අද මේ ජිනීවා නුවර මේ ජිනීවා මාධ්‍ය වේදින්ගේ සංගමයට අපි අද පැමිණියේ විශේෂ කාරණයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න. මේ අපි ඒ වගේම බොහොම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා මේ ජිනීවා මාධ්‍ය වේදින්ගේ සංගමය මෙවැනි මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවක් පවත්වන්නට, මෙවැනි මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවක් මෙතන මේ සංවිධානය කරාට. අපි අද මෙතන ඉදිරිපත් කරේ විශේෂ කරුණක්. මේක මීට පෙර අපි එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානයේ 55 වෙනි සැසිවාරයේ මානව හිමිකම් සැසිවාරය ඉදිරිපත් කරා. ඒකට ලෝකේ විශාල පිරිසකගේ අවධානය යොමු වුණා. අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරපු කරුණ තමයි අපි පවතින්නේ අපි ඇති වෙලා තියෙන සිංහල කියන ජන කොටසකින්. ඒ ජන කොටසේ අපි දන්න ධර්මයට අපි හොයාගෙන තියෙන කරුණ වලට අනුව අපි බුදුදහම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ අපි ආභස්සර බ්‍රහ්ම ලෝකයෙන් ආපු බ්‍රහ්මයෙන්ගෙන් පැවතින ජන කොටසක් කියලා. අපි හොයාගෙන තියෙන කරුණ අනුව ඒ ආභස්සර බ්‍රහ්ම ලෝකයෙන් ආපු දවසේ ඉඳලම ඒ මුල් භූමියේ ජීවත් වෙන එකම ජන කොටස, ඒ කියන්නේ ලෝකයේ ආදිතම වාසී ජන කොටස. ඒ ආදිතම වාසියාගේ ඒ ආදිතම වාසී අපේ අනන්‍යතාවය විකෘති වෙන්නේ 1836 ඔය ජෝර්ජ් ස්ටර්නර් කියලා මේ බ්‍රිතාන්‍ය ජාතිකයෙක් විසින් ලියන පොතකින්. ඊට පෙර මේ ලෝකයේ හැමතැනම මේ එංගලන්තෙත් වෙනත් ඕනම රටකත් උගන්වලා තියෙනවා. ඔක්ස්ෆර්ඩ් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පවා ඒ අධ්‍යාපන මේ සිලබස් වලටත් තියෙන්නේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ජීවත් වෙලා තියෙන ලංකාවේ කියලා. මහාවංශෙත් එහෙමම තියෙනවා. මහාවංශේ පළවෙනිම මහාවංශේ මේ ලෝකේ පරිවර්තනය කරපු එඩ්වඩ් අපහාම් කියන කෙනා තමයි 1700 ගණන් වල මේක පරිවර්තනය කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ මහාවංශයේ පැහැදිලිවම කියලා තියෙනවා මේක ඊටාම වටිනා දිවයිනක්, හරි අලංකාර දිවයිනක්. ඒ දිවයිනේ කොච්චර වටිනවද කියනවා නම් මේ ආසියාවේ හිටපු ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨම මේ ශාස්ත්‍රවරයෙකු වන බුදුන් වහන්සේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඉපදෙන්නත් ජීවත් වෙන්නත් තෝරගෙන තියෙන්නේ මේ දූපතමයි කියලා. ඊටාම පැහැදිලිව මේ මහාවංශ ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේෂන් එකේ පැහැදිලිවම ලියලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ ඊට එහාට ඕන තරම් ડોකියුමන්ට්ස් තියෙනවා. රොබර්ට් නොක්ස් ලියලා තියෙනවා. ඊට එහා මේ ගොඩාක් හැම පොත්වලම තියෙන පොත් 100,000 ගණනක් තියෙනවා. කිසිම පොතක කිසිම වෙනසක් නැහැ. මේක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ 1836. ඔය ජෝර්ජ් ස්ටර්නර් කියන ඔය කෑගල්ල පැත්තේ හිටපු උපදිසාපතිවරයෙක් තමයි මේ පොතක් ලියන්නේ. ඊට පසුව ඔය කනින්හෑම් කියනවා මෙහි ඔය ඉන්දියාවේ කොහොම ස්ථාන පෙන්ලා දෙනවා මේ විදියට. ඒ ස්ථාන ඊට පස්සේ ඔය මහා බෝධි හිටපු මහා මොකද්ද යාට කියන්නේ මේ ධර්මපාලතුමා ගිහිල්ලා එංගලන්තේ නෙමෙයි ඉන්දියාවට ගිහිල්ලා මේවා මේ බෞද්ධ සිද්ධාස්ථාන කියලා ආරක්ෂා කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. හැබැයි එතුමා නඩුවක් දාලා ඒ නඩුවක් යනවා කල්කටාවේ උසාවියේ, ගයා උසාවියේ යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ කල්කටා මහාධිකරණය යනවා. ඒ කල්කටා මහාධිකරණයේ තීන්දුව මම ළඟ තියෙනවා. ඒ තීන්දුවේ කියනවා මේක බෞද්ධ මේක උසාවියෙන් කොහෙවත් මෙහෙම එකක් මේ තීන්දුව වෙලා නැහැ. ඒ තීන්දුවේ තියෙනවා මේක Hindu කෝවිලක් කියලා. ඔය දැන්ට අපි වඳින්න යන බුද්ධ ගයාව. ඊටාම පැහැදිලිව මම ගාවත් මේ තියෙනවා. මම මේ අපේ නායක හමුදුරන්ට ඒක පෙන්නනමයි මේ නෝර්වේට වැඩම කරපුවාම. එතකොට කිසිම දිනක කිසිම ලෝකේ කිසිම තැනක ඉන්දියාවේ කියලා මේක කොහෙවත් තීරණය කරලා නැහැ. කනින්හෑම් ලියලත් නැහැ. කනින්හෑම් කියන්නේ එයා හිතනවා කියලා. මේ අපි තමයි මේක මේ වන්දනාවේ ගෙනින මේ වන්දනාකාරයෝ. වන්දනා නඩ තමයි අවුරුදු 50 40ක 50ක ඉඳලා මම හිතන් 30 40ක ඉඳලා මේක ප්‍රචාරය කරන්නේ. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම කිසිම පොතකත් නැහැ, කනින්හෑම් කියලාත් නැහැ. එංගලන්තයේ ඇත්තටම කනින්හෑමුත් කියලා නැහැ. කනින්හෑම් කියන්නේ හිතනවා කියලා. ඒ හිතපු දෙයක් තමයි අපි ඒක ස්ථිර කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඊට පස්සේ අපි පුරාවිද්‍යා අපේ සෙල්ලිපි සහ අපේ පොත් කියවනකොට අපිට ඉතාම පැහැදිලිව පේනවා මේ දඹදිව කියන්නේ ඔය කුරුණෑගල දිස්ත්‍රික්කය නැත්නම් වයඹ පළාත මාතලේ දිස්ත්‍රික්කය ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කය සහ උතුරු මැද පළාත සහ උතුරු පළාත අයිති වෙන ප්‍රදේශය. ඒ කියන්නේ මහවැලි ගඟෙන් බටහිර පැත්තත් කැලණි ගඟෙන් උතුරත්. ඔය ගංගා හතරෙන් තමයි ඔය සිව්වැලේ බෙදලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔය මහවැලි කැලණි වලවි කියන ගංගා දැන් කියන්නේ ඔයාට ඉස්සර වෙන නම් තිබිලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒව ගැන අපි ඊටාම හොඳ ගවේෂණයක් කරලා තිනවා. ඒ ගවේෂණයෙන් අපි මේ කරුණු ඊටාම පැහැදිලිව හොයාගෙන තිනවා. ඒවා තමයි මේ පොතේ තියෙන්නේ. අපි ඒවා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන් ඕනම කෙනෙකුට මේ තොරතුරු වල කිසිම රහසක් නැහැ. අපි මේවා දැන් අධිකරණ වලට ගෙනියනවා. මේ නීතිඥතුමා ඒ වගේම වෙන ඕනම කෙනෙකුට මේ තොරතුරු බලලා තමන්ටම මේවා ගවේෂණය කරලා මේ ඇත්තද නැත්තද කියලා ඕන කෙනෙකුට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. මේක අපි කියන දෙයක් අපි පිළිගන්න කියලා කියන්නෙත් නැහැ කිසිම කෙනෙකුට. මේ අපි කියන කරුණු වලට මේ එකපාරම මේ බොරු අරව මේව කියනත් මේ කියන කාරණේ මොකක්ද කියලා හොයලා බලන්න. එහෙම හොයලා බැලුවොත් ඕනම කෙනෙකුට ඒක පැහැදිලි වෙයි. ඒක අපි කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේ පොත්වල ලියලා තියෙනවා. මේක අපි කියන්නේත් මේ පොත්පත්වල තියෙන සෙල්ලිපි වල කොටලා තියෙන මේ කාරණා විතරයි අපි කියන්නේ. අනිත් එක 1836ට පෙර අපි අලුත් දෙයක් කියන්නේ නැහැ. අපි කියන්නේ 1836ට පෙර බ්‍රිතාන්‍ය පාලනයට එන්න පෙර ඔය කෝල්බ්‍රුක් කැමරන් කොමිෂන් සභාව 1833 පත් වෙන්නට පෙර මුළු ලෝකෙම විශ්වාස කරපු දෙයක් අපි කියන්නේ. ඒක ලෝකෙ හැම පොතකම තියෙනවා. අපි අලුත් කිසිම දෙයක් කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ පරණ දෙයක් පෙන්නලා දෙනවා. අපිට අමතක වෙච්ච අපිට ඉස්කෝලේ වලින් උගන්වපු නැති ඒ පැරණි පොත්පත් ටික අපි පෙන්නලා දෙන එක විතරයි කරන්නේ.
Thank you so much. Following Venerable Ariyamagga, we are privileged to have Marius Reikeros, a distinguished human rights advocate known for his unwavering commitment to justice. Mr. Reikeros will discuss the legal aspects of the historical distortions related to this identity erasure and ethnic cleansing and the international legal avenues being pursued. Mr. Reikeros, we eagerly await your expertise on this crucial matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me here today. I'm honored to be talking in front of you today. And I'm honored to be a part of such an important legal battle against the colonization power like UK. It reminds me a lot about other cases I've been involved with the last 15 years. And it proves once again that in order to combat injustice, we have to stand up no matter where in this world we are. So grateful thank you to you, sir, for conducting this legal battle. And I met with you not so many weeks ago in Norway. I'm on Norwegian Human Rights Council, and I flew to a city called Stavanger from Oslo, and where I met this group of people, and where we discussed this case for many, many hours. And after the end of this meeting, I was convinced that this was something I wanted to be a part of. As a human rights, I've been dealing with human rights issues for almost 25 years. We have had a lot of battles going on in my native country, Norway. They are residing in Norway, so it was natural to meet there. And I was very impressed with this, so I don't take the cameras once again. I was very impressed with this documentation. It's like, can you imagine how much work that is being done just to collect all this documentation? I mean, I'm super impressed with the work you have done for so many years. And obviously, when the group of people have done such an amazing preparation for a potential lawsuit, it's my obligation and my duty as a Human Rights Counsel to look into the legal matters. That's what a lawyer is doing. So anyway, I have been dealing with a lot of claims and applications in particular to the European Court of Human Rights, which is not so far from here in Strasbourg. We have been successful in battling the Norwegian government, meaning that we have had 37 convictions against Norway for the last 6 years in the European Court of Human Rights. In Norway, and a lot of people believe that Norway is like a champion of human rights, which is not correct. And that's why it's so important also to bring the experience we have from these cases onto the other group, and to see that when violations have been done, it's important that these institutions, whether they are in Geneva, whether they are in Hague, whether they are in Strasbourg, that they work for the purpose of the people. So this is also a challenge for the institutions here in Geneva. What we're going to do now is definitely to, after the press conference today and the things tomorrow, we will sit down. We will go through the statement of the facts as well as the statement of the law, and see if it's potential, if it's legal grounds to file a claim against UK. And the interesting part is that the gentleman here, he filed a claim to the EU courts all the way to the High Court of Justice in UK in 2021. And instead of scrutinizing the allegations put forward, the High Court of Justice just made in one sentence saying on December 12th, 2021, and saying that the claim has been struck out due to no recognizable cause of action in English law, which is very interesting. Because what the courts, the domestic courts, and this reminds me about how the courts are doing it in Norway too, so this is not unusual, but what they're doing is that instead of dealing with the problems or dealing with the alleged violations, they say that this is not related to our domestic law. And that's how they, jump over the fence in order to avoid the problem of dealing with these matters. And when they have exhausted the domestic remedies, which they have done, then of course they have the potential to file a claim in the UN courts or even in the European Court of Human Rights. There is a distinct difference there, because in the European Court of Human Rights they're dealing with these time limits. They're not doing it the same way in the UN committee. So we will look into the possibility now of dealing with this case in the UN committee, first of all. We will see other alternatives as well, but I do believe that this claim, or the application, which is the formal word, that we will put forward, will bring a lot of challenges to the UN committees, because this can be like a general test if these courts or these committees are as effective as we hope they are. Because we have seen over and over again that when people are battling on the international arena, these courts are not serving the people the way they should. So this is definitely a test for the UN committees, as well as for the international tribunals, to see if they can, to receive some justice after what has been going on. And of course, the documentation that we have in front of us is like an immense piece of work. I would like to remind you, though, about the basic principles and guidelines of the right to a remedy and reparation for victims of gross violations in the international tribunals. Because these remedies are the main focus when you are working with international law, that justice must not only seek to be done, it must be done. So what we're here for is, of course, this is not a game, this is not just a theory, this is like a legal claim that we're putting forward, and that is so significant for so many people. And the good thing is that I know that this case will bring awareness worldwide, because I was talking to people this morning in New Zealand. I was there 4 years ago helping the indigenous groups in New Zealand to raise claims in the international tribunals. And they were very happy to see that other indigenous groups are now coming forward with their claims. So I think that this can have a mass impact on other groups as well. So you are not doing this only for the good of yourself, or for the Buddhists or worldwide, but you're also doing this for all the people around the globe who feel treated injustice by certain, during the colony powers, like for instance the indigenous groups in New Zealand. So it's very good. And also to see that people in my own country, you may not be aware of that, but a few years ago the indigenous group in Norway won a tremendous victory in the Supreme Court of Norway. But 3 years after the victory, the Norwegian government has not even respected this judgment, and they continue to violate the same rights as they've been convicted for. So I do believe that you will see that indigenous groups all over the world will take great interest in what you're doing now, and it will be like a ground test also for the committee to see if they are really taking your claim seriously. And that's, of course, a massive job we have ahead of us, because we have to, when we are doing this application, we have to align the statement of the facts with the law part. And of course, I don't think there are many cases, at least I haven't found many cases in the case law of the UN Committee or the International Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, which has been dealing with cases like this. So for us, it's a massive challenge to bring this case so thoroughly and so good that they cannot avoid to deal with it. But the interesting part, when this case was being handled by the Supreme Court or by the domestic courts in the UK, they ignore to deal with the very basic of the statement of the facts in this case, that they are claiming that they have been exposed for human rights violations. And of course, UK, like Norway, like Switzerland, like every country in Europe, have to obey to the same human rights conventions. So it was very surprising to see, and that's also going to be a very important statement when we're making this application, that we can see that the UK courts ignore to deal with the very substance of the case, the human rights violations claimed by the defendant. So I think that we are standing here today in a breakthrough case. I'm very proud of this group who have dedicated so much of their time. They're not doing this for the cause of money. They want justice to be restored. It says a lot about the integrity of these people, which we can learn a lot about. Everyone can learn a lot about the philosophy that you are bringing forward. And I think that by doing this, I think that you can make a ground breakthrough worldwide, and you can also make, it's also a very good contribution to make a better world and a more peaceful world. So I'm very happy to be a part of this. We will do whatever we can to succeed one way or the other. There are many ways to succeed when you're doing legal battles anyway, not necessarily only the court part. But I think that by putting a lot of pressure on these colonial powers, as well as other countries who have misused their power against the people, I'm sure that the people will be able to be stronger than the governments, and that we will survive it. So keep in mind that this is also a very big challenge for the UN institutions, because this time we will see justice being done, and this is also a wonderful opportunity for these institutions to tell the people out there worldwide that our institutions are actually working to the good of the people. We are here to protect your human rights, and this is the core test for that. So once again, thank you very much for having me here. I'm honored, and I will use my experience to do whatever I can, and we will also bring the legal aspects from the European Court into this case, so that we can transfer these victories we've had in the European Court of Human Rights, hopefully to the UN Committee. So that's, we're confident, and like a very wise man said, losing is not an option in cases like this. So that's going to be my final words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Venerable Ari Magge and Mr. Regeros, for your illuminating presentations. We will now open the floor for a Q&A session. This is an opportunity for our esteemed members of the press and attendees to seek clarifications on further information on the topics discussed today. Please feel free to discuss or direct your questions to our speakers.
The question is addressed to Mr. Marius for Norway. Yeah. Well, you said there is like a resonance with indigenous peoples about the fighting of this association against colonialism. I agree with you because I see also that at WIPO here in Geneva, World Intellectual Property Organization, where are the Great Britain and other colonial powers, post-colonial powers, that try to not to recognize the rights of indigenous peoples and the rights over their knowledge, over their history. There is a diplomatic conference at WIPO in May about these issues, and I think maybe you'll be interested in being accredited to that diplomatic conference and make your point, and I'm sure that indigenous peoples there inside WIPO will support your cause. Thank you.
I heard that you are a lawyer from Colombia. Is that correct? Advocate, yeah. Yeah, I love Colombia, by the way. I've been there 4 times. But anyhow, yeah, I think that one of the most important thing with this case is to collaborate as much support and to collect as much support as we can worldwide, so that these governments worldwide can realize that the people now are starting to stand up for justice. Because for way too long, I mean, that happens even in my country, but for way too long, people have been indifferent to injustice as long as the indifference is going on. The government is viewing this from a victory point of view, that injustice can take place as long as the people are not standing up. So that's what makes me so thrilled about this case, that these people are so committed, have done such a tremendous pre-work to the case, and that we can finally establish a case which has like a legal ground for so many people worldwide. So I invite all groups and all NGOs and all people worldwide who are, to support this case, because it will definitely benefit the people worldwide. So like you said, if it was an invitation to some kind of, so I would love to talk more with you later for the purpose of some kind of collaboration. That would be great. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rohini Ghauri from Ron Journal. I have one question. Are you seeking a compensation from the United Kingdom or any other government for what you assert are distortion of historical facts? If so, on what grounds?
We can split the question.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
No, we do not accept any monetary compensation. We want to, tell them that don't do this type of things again. And we need a public apology and rectify and restore those things what they have distorted.
Thank you.
And normally, of course, when you are filing a claim in the tribunals, whether they're domestic or internationally, you always seek redress with the monetary compensation. This group is exceptional, since they will not claim any form for monetary compensation, and I think that's a wonderful thing about the whole idea, that they are doing this for these authentic reasons and not for the money reasons. So I support that fully, and I think that will make this case even much stronger. So this is not about money at all. So of course we will claim compensation for the costs and so on, but the general agenda that is normal in these cases will not be a part of it. So there will be no monetary compensation asked for.
I'm Sharifdeen from Geneva Times. My question to Bhikkhu Klape Ariyamagga. If the current location of Ayodhya is fake, could you indicate where is the authentic Ayodhya might be situated?
Actually, the authentic Ayodhya is situated in Sri Lanka. This we have been very clearly confirmed from all these ancient texts that we have been found throughout the Europe. These ancient manuscripts, the palm leaf manuscript kept in like in England, Denmark, USA, and France, they have written all those clear information about this 35 ancient townships. The exact geographical positions of the 35 ancient townships. The Ayodhya is one of that, and it is not very difficult to find that Ayodhya, and we know exactly where is it, but it is not this Ayodhya. The current the geographical position that is they have been placed in India, which has been what you call led to a conflict between Muslims and Hindus, but that is an opaque place. So Hindus has been misled, and therefore they have been invaded these Muslims religious worshipping places.
Yes, Boris Engelson, a local journalist freelance. I too have hearing problems, but in any case, your cause, the cause you defend and plead for here is so unusual and unexpected that it will take me time to understand the whole process. But to what extent does this challenge to the established view, the what you call the manipulated view of history, which impact does it have on the reinterpretation of the conflict within Sri Lanka?
No, it does not, I mean, to that conflict, it does not, I mean, impact to this, the current conflict that we had recently, that Tamils and Sinhalese. But what we have found that is that they have altered the atlas, atlas of the Indian subcontinent by demarcating these ancient townships in wrong locations. So in the faith wise, in a religious wise, now we are going to a wrong places to worship our religious worshiping places like Buddha's birthplace, Buddha's Parinibbana place and enlightenment place. All now what we are worshipping is fake and they are not situated there. So all, not only that, and it's also relevant to the Jains Mahavira and also to this Rama, the Lord Rama. So in that way, they have misled everyone.
This is in the release. I read the release here.
Yes, yes.
But I see no mention of the civil war which took place in the past generation. So I was wondering whether the reinterpretation or the rectification or the restoration of truth, as you consider, on the history of Buddhism would bring to a reinterpretation in either sense of the civil war in Sri Lanka. And I would have a side question. I am not sure I understand the link between Rise Up for Truth and the different heroes whose photo appeared there.
Yeah, okay. And this was not, this rectification what we are seeking is not relevant to this civil war. It was in Sri Lanka. And this Rise Up for this was people who was, the committed to save the world. Like these are the pictures that we are, because this is not only relevant to the one nation or one culture or one indigenous group, that is relevant to the whole world. So we are fighting for the truth, the ultimate truth, or the spirit on a common ground. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Farah from Paris Telegraph. I have got two questions for you, and it's about the Emperor Ashoka. So the British colonial narrative, Emperor Ashoka is a figure in India, but it might not be based on factual evidence. So could you elaborate on this supposed origin, on his supposed origins, and what might have led to the creation of this myth? That is my first question. And my second one is, who do you believe played a role in this fabrication?
The Ashoka is the authentic Ashoka is a king of Sri Lanka, which has been ruled in Sri Lanka. Is not relevant to India. He has been a king of Dambadiva. Dambadiva is one of the ancient city, not an ancient city, ancient state, but that has been originally located within the contemporary boundaries of Sri Lanka. What the British colonial period, what they have done is they have displaced that ancient kingdom, and they have demarcated erroneously in Indian subcontinent, in India, Bihar. So in that way, so they have brought that Ashoka, that one of this emperor who has actually been in Sri Lanka, to this India, and they want, it is kind of a political conspiracy that they wanted to make one India and they wanted to show that the king in the histories has ruled whole India, and in that way that British together with Gandhi and Nehru, I think, all those heroes, so-called heroes of this independence time, they have manipulated, they have fabricated this history by using kings from Sri Lanka to make one India. But what we know now is that that is wrong, and also in that way they are dominating other minorities and communities in India.
Merci beaucoup. Quelles sont vos prochaines stratégies pour aborder et corriger ces inexactitudes historiques?
So maybe the question is more to the advocate. Which are the next steps? What is the strategy to correct these inaccuracies?
Well, the strategy is quite straightforward. It's like if we find and if we conclude upon filing a claim to the, let's say, to the UN committee within the next 2-3 days, we will file the claim in an ordinary way, claiming that UK has violated these rights that we are making forward, and then, of course, it's for the committee and for the judges to evaluate if our claim is within their scope or not. And if it's within the scope, and if the UN committee, for instance, take this into consideration, that means that there will be a final decision. Maybe that will take a few years from now because it works slowly, but that's the strategy from a legal point of view, that we will make an application and we will have the committee to review the application and hopefully to come out with the decision in our favor, saying that violations have been done, and then it's up for the respective countries to restore justice, like and in a very common international way, that you are doing restitutio in integro, meaning that you are restoring justice as if these violations did not occur. So basically, this is a straightforward claim from us, not distinguishing any particular way from other claims. The only difference is that this claim is, of course, of more of substantial and more worldwide nature. So that's as good as I can say it in a few words.
My second question, can you show the authentic location of Ayodhya to the global community?
Yes, it is. Yes, we can do that. If the people are interested, and if any community is interested, we can show the exact location of Ayodhya, and if they are interested, I think they can restore the true authentic birthplace of the Prince Rama.
Sorry for asking again a question. I got from what you said that this falsification and restoration of what you consider truth has no direct relevance in the fighting between Senalis and Tamils, but you refer in this document to religious hatred, which your position would diminish or challenge. Can you be more explicit? You seem to refer more to Hindu-Muslim conflict, and you also refer to the Jain community. So can you be more explicit which hatred the manipulation has triggered, and in which way you will decrease this conflict?
Yes, it's not any hatred. What we are claiming is, what we are saying is, the ethnic identities of every community, Tamil, Sinhala, and the Muslim and Jain and Hindus, all has been erased or altered. So this is nothing to do with the Tamil or between Tamil or Sinhalese or those things. So everybody's ethnic identities has been altered and erased. So this, what we are trying is to bring the truth and mean to do what you call implement or find or claim our ethnic identity, then the Tamil also will get their authentic identity. So we have nothing to fight with. Everybody have been living there from long period. I think all those nations are rooted, very, very rooted to this area. So there is nothing to be fight or there is nothing to be conflict. To make a new conflict, we all want to get our indigenous titles.
I would have a very last question. What is how curious, how interested are the people in your country, in Sri Lanka, about that case? How much do they support the task, the mission, the case you bringing up here in Geneva?
So it is very new. It's very new for Sri Lankan. Many Sri Lankan does not know, but we get in support. That's why these monks has come from all the way from Sri Lanka to support us. But now the Sri Lanka has this. We have published some video, and it has been viral in Sri Lanka, and many are watching these things and commenting. And there is a great interest in Sri Lanka, as well as I think that will be the same in India. And also we have met many other minorities, communities, the Indian-based and Pakistan's in the United Nations, this assembly. And they also very interested to join with us, and because they also feel that they have the same, they are facing the same problem.
Okay, thank you very much. So, and I'll give back the floor to our moderator for the word of conclusion.
Thank you so much. As we conclude today's press conference, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speakers for their insightful contributions, and to all of you for your presence and engagement. This conference marks a significant step toward rectifying historical inaccuracies and advocating for justice. For further information and to support our case, please visit the Arya Kammatthana organization's website. Thank you once again for joining us at the Geneva Press Club. Have a great day.
ජිනීවා නුවර සිට මෙහෙවන සිහලාගේ අනන්‍යතාවයේ දිනන සංග්‍රාමයේ නවතම තොරතුරු දැන ගැනීම සඳහා Truth Connect TV සමගින් රැඳී සිටින්න.